Thank you very much for allowing me to speak today about Recollect. This is co-designing a resilient digital infrastructure for digital collections at scale here at the University of Manchester Library. So I'm the relatively new head of digital reach. I was appointed in July of last year. So, has anyone visited the John Rylands Library on Deansgate for a start? Oh, quite a few hands there, that's really good to see. So it's an absolutely fantastic building full of brilliant special collections. The University of Manchester Library holds one of the finest collections of rare books, manuscripts, archives, objects, oral histories, and visual collections in the world, collectively known as our special collections. Not all special collections are based here at the Rylands. We also have a number of special collections as well at the main library, which is on our main university campus, and also at the Race Centre, which is based strategically in St Peter's Square at the Central Library as well. So, special collections, this is our lovely reading room here. If you haven't visited, I would encourage you to do so. Open from Wednesdays to Saturday. Basically, the materials cover a wide range of topic areas, and we have clay tables dated to 2500 BC to, frankly, recent emails. So it's a really wide-ranging amount of different collections that we host. So moving on to our digital collection platform. So one of our core platforms is called Manchester Digital Collections, and this was a platform that was developed out of Research Lifecycle Programme funding. This is a strategic pot of money that the university has for developing research infrastructure. So around 2020 we developed this and we did a first iteration of different collections. These are highly curated collections with very high quality TEI metadata, and also we delivered the very high resolution images of these collections using the International Image Interoperability Framework, or IIIF for short. And then more recently we followed with a second iteration of collection development, with one of the most recent releases being around the Arabic manuscripts, which was released earlier this year in February. So to complement the Manchester Digital Collections, we also have another platform available called Manchester Digital Exhibitions. So this actually provides a really nice way to engage the civic community in our digital collections, as well as researchers and students, creating narratives around the digital collections. These will either be curator-led or research-led projects. And finally, we also have another platform, the Library Digital Collections platform. This is an older platform which again has extensive digital collections available. Not all of these are special collections, they're more contemporary collections as well. But similar to MDC, we have the IIIF manifest so that you can get those high quality data downloads of the collections and to really be able to interrogate those collections as well as the TEI metadata too. So we've got quite a range of different digital platforms currently here at the library. So just to introduce you to the Digital Reach team, we play a pivotal role in expanding the library's digital presence and impact across teaching, research and civic engagement. The team comprises of highly skilled research technical professionals with a wide range of imaging and digitisation techniques supported by research and imaging coordinators. So I can just show you here a structure of my team. We have senior photographers and photographers at the Rylands Heritage Imaging Lab. These are highly trained individuals who can do multispectral imaging, photo stereo imaging and scanning. And what this means is that you can actually then derive information from these collections that isn't visible by the naked eye using infrared technology, so that we can sort of see hidden text or sort of written notes to the sides of some of those manuscripts. We have John and Lindsay who actually manage a lot of our digital platforms in terms of infrastructurally, and then we have Charlotte and John who curate the MDC and MD platforms. And this requires a lot of collaboration with our research communities, people where those particular collections have been sourced from, for example. So today I wanted to talk about Recollect. We're actually in the first phase of this project. And this is an exciting new collaborative initiative to improve the platforms that host our digital collections, so those that I've just gone through with you. Our goal is to make them more accessible, user-friendly and responsive to user needs, whether you're a student, researcher or a member of the wider civic community. So one of the key problems that we've noticed is that because we have all these multiple digital platforms, it is fragmented. Workflows limit discoverability, efficiency and engagement with the library's collection, and this is creating barriers for researchers, lecturers, students and civic engagement. So we've identified 4 objectives, the first being to evidence user needs through collaborative research and usability workshops, reviewing these current platforms, workflows and governance, and articulating clear future requirements and evaluation criteria, testing innovative interoperable approaches through proof of concept activity. So in essence, Recollect is here to produce that kind of comprehensive review in phase 1 so that we really understand what we need to do to also achieve the university strategic goals and the library strategic goals as well. So initially the idea is to collect all this evidence so that we can put together what is a requirements report, getting input from a diverse range of stakeholders, so from researchers, students, curators, the photographers, developers, IT, accessibility experts and the general public. And we're doing this by going through lots of different kinds of qualitative, quantitative analysis, so developing workshops, we've released a survey and interviews to gather insight. And so we're kind of coming towards now, I'd say, the latter stages of phase 1. We hope to get this all delivered by the end of May, where then we will have a requirements and a strategic business case to recommend to our library exec. So breaking down this project, phase 1 of this project, it's a rather large project, we have a number of different work packages. So for work package 2, we've been focusing on the stakeholder mapping and engagement internally at the library, so also reviewing those kind of internal requirements from our curators themselves, because they're users of these platforms. We're also in work package 3 been collecting the requirements more broadly from our outwardly facing user community. This has been done through one-to-one interviews and a university-wide survey, and through doing a usability assessment of those outwardly facing platforms, so Manchester Digital Collections, Digital Exhibitions and Library Digital Collections. And this has been done in collaboration with the Alliance Manchester Business School Behavioural Research Lab. In Work Package 5, we're looking at kind of what are our user journeys, sort of what do we need to do to kind of produce service excellence of our digital platforms, what are the things that we need to develop there, and also doing horizon scanning to think of, well, what are potential, solutions that we can do to actually make these platforms much more efficient for our end users. And our final work package has been focusing on a particular collection as a kind of proof of concept piece of work. So this is the historic map collection. So in terms of methodology, it's sort of a mixed methods approach. We have been also doing a series of environment analysis, so SWOT analysis around our current platforms, and a whole mix of investigation techniques, which I'll go into further detail about. So with our work package 2, stakeholder mapping engagement, like I said, this was an internal piece where we've gone to multiple teams across the library. The library is a huge kind of establishment within the University of Manchester itself. There's multiple sites, like I said. We have the Race Centre, Special Collections on Deansgate. We've also got the main library as well. multiple teams there that we needed to go to. And we've collected in total so far 92 requirements, with 42 of those being around system requirements, 33 user and 17 business requirements. And those being split between functional at 75 and 17 non-functional requirements. So really kind of addressing all that's detailed here in this requirements pyramid. And then we've needed to go through the process of actually prioritising those requirements using a Moscow approach. So what are the things that, you know, at the moment we must do versus we could do or should do. And for this we have been using Copilot for doing some initial prioritisation, with then reviewing that prioritisation with our digital collections coordination group to kind of validate that prioritisation and make sure that actually what has been produced there is correct and that people are on the same page with that, and teams as well. So from this we have been able to pull out the sort of top 5 themes really from those requirements. So 46% of the requirements was around improving access, discovery and user experience. 25% was around metadata, identifiers and interoperability. 22% of requirements pertain to preservation, lifecycle and maintainability, with 16% around security, rights management and responsible access, and another 16% around storage capacity and retention. And what we are able to do is then map those specific themes to the requirements that came up and the teams that requested those requirements. Alongside this, we have been looking at, like I said, the wider requirements from our university community as well. So we launched this survey that went out on the 27th of Jan and was open till the 2nd of March. And we got 52 responses for all the mandatory questions from that. And some of the initial findings that we gleaned from that survey is that the current usage of our digital collections is actually concentrated amongst our professional staff, most likely our curators themselves, with respondents from the library and also from the Faculty of Humanities as well. We did have limited engagement directly from academic and technical staff, and in particular the Faculty of Science and Engineering came quite low in terms of engagement. What we did see is that out of the different platforms that we have, the MDC and the library digital collections are the dominant platforms, while there was some awareness of the other platforms, their use was quite low and limited. And also that there was comparatively little usage for using these very high quality digital special collections in teaching, which was quite surprising really. So most users seem to rely on quite basic workflows for searching and browsing, and not really kind of using any of the kind of advanced features or tools in the platforms. So some of the key challenges and the things that I think have been touched upon in some of the talks today was this kind of lack of awareness. There was also this confusion caused by having multiple platforms. Which platform do you go to for which collection, or do I just investigate all of them? Usability and navigation issues, and a need and appetite for improved guidance, training and more coherent support. So this really got us thinking about, well, we probably could do with more in-depth analysis around what our current platforms are, kind of delivering and providing. So we had quite detailed walkthroughs for MDC, MDE and the library digital collections as 3 usability workshops. Like I said, this was coordinated with the Alliance Manchester Business School Behavioural Research Lab. We had 2 on the 10th and 17th of February, which were focused on researchers, students and the general public, with the 3rd one focused on library staff testing our platforms. And we did also extend the test then to the internal platforms that we use as well, such as EMU, Preservica and Elgar. So currently we've been working on the guidelines for using Copilot to actually conduct the qualitative analysis from all the data that we've compiled from these 3 usability workshops There was over 100 questions as part of that usability assessment that are well, they were paid an Amazon gift voucher, but basically it was really volunteering people's time. And I've got to say, you know, it was absolutely fantastic, the amount and quality of feedback that we received as part of these workshops. So this is some images here of the workshops that took place in early Feb with our students and researchers and general public. And this is also some taken of our library staff. And it was quite a nice event because also they really were kind of sharing each other's experience and expertise. So if someone got stuck, they were like, oh, I know how to do that. And it was like a really great way of actually bringing a whole cohort of staff together. And there was a lot of knowledge share on the actual day just as a result of these usability sort of workshops as well. In terms of sort of user journey mapping and service excellence, we've been really thinking about, you know, how can we make sure that our digital collections are AI ready. So reviewing metadata formats across library systems to maximise digital collections discoverability, and also making sure that that metadata is consistent, and that is a real challenge because, like I said, in MDC we have very high quality metadata, but for the library digital collection platform sometimes there just simply isn't enough time to complete all fields of the TI metadata record. So there is variable quality there, yeah, I'd be interested if anyone's got any suggestions in terms of how we go forward with making those metadata more complete, given the constraints that we have in terms of time to input into doing that. Also, we've been looking at making sure that our service catalogue and that we basically record these platforms in what we call a service design pack here at the university through IT services. So ensuring that everything is fully documented is really essential, and also takes away that risk of digital infrastructure platforms. I think there was a question earlier in the audience, what happens if you're hacked kind of thing. And, you know, we really need to think about cyber security and how to ensure that our digital platforms are as secure and watertight as possible, or who to go to if the worst should happen. So that is something that we've been thinking about under service excellence as well as terms of engagement. So what should someone who is using our digital platforms expect from the library, and also what do we expect back from the user if they decide that they want to use one of our digital services. And finally, some user journey mapping, so understanding what are the kind of key pain points from a user perspective, and how we can develop this into a potential future state proposal. So in Work Package 6 we have been doing a lot of horizon scanning recently. We've been going to a number of digital providers, looking at immersive tech as well. There was Kodama here, I don't know if he's still here now. We've been speaking with the Data Visualization Observatory at AMBS. We've been looking at providers that already have their digital solutions available on the campus, like the Esri software stack, which has been used for the Digital Solutions Hub and is used in teaching. And thinking about, well, how can we potentially empower as well our end users to do more with our digital collections? So, you know, rather than someone having to come to us as a library and set up a Manchester Digital Exhibition, how can we empower our users to actually be able just to do that for themselves and create something to communicate to their audience as a research output, for example. So as I said, on Work Package 7 we've been focusing in then on a bit of a proof of concept activity around the historical map collection. I guess from my perspective, I'm a geographer, so it made complete sense for me to hone in on the maps out of the special collections, and Dave's smiling because he's like, yeah, that makes sense. But I've been really mapping, you know, kind of what's the current state of affairs. So we've had a number of semi-structured interviews with professors in architecture, planning, geography, to understand, well, what is their user journey when they go and want to use a historic map. And it's been given some really, I mean, this is very much preliminary, and there's obviously more people that we can speak to, but our initial findings is that it's very variable across disciplines as well. So architecture are definitely, using our historic map collection, but they didn't know MDC existed. They always go to the library digital collection, and sometimes they can't find what they're looking for and end up having to default to the map curator, who then assists them with that. So there was real issues there around discoverability. So the grey clouds are the pain points, and I think that one of the things that we've seen is that different disciplines are having different experiences of our platforms. In terms of with geography and planning, they just really simply didn't engage with our platforms. They go to other platforms instead. Otherwise, poor discoverability for those that are. There was, by the metadata and discovery teaming, really highlighting that fragmented platforms also do create inconsistent metadata across the piece. And really that kind of high reliance on, one curator really at the library, which obviously, delays the flow of work going through for researchers and teaching. I think the other thing was, sometimes these collections not really being necessarily ready for the audience. So there was some expectation from geography and planning that, a historic map should be GIS ready, that's Geographical Information System. So it's a system where you integrate multiple layers for spatial analysis and GeoAI. And at the moment, we don't provide necessarily georeferenced historic maps. Although, as I mentioned, the IIIF manifest has recently extended that standard to include georeferencing, so that is something that we could investigate and increase then our interoperability of our sort of very high quality images for that particular community. And I guess the other main thing was around sort of perhaps bringing those collections closer to current teaching platforms and VLEs, so Canvas, Moodle, for example. So this was a proposed future state of how we could then empower using this swim lane diagram. You can see then that the undergrad and postgraduate students get very busy because in essence we're kind of empowering them to do things for themselves. So being able then to use our historic maps to create their own online maps, or to create their own mobile applications or story maps, or to do their own GIS and GeoAI analysis if we brought the collection into this particular environment. Also, if we ensured that our collections that went into this environment of ArcGIS Online were really highly curated, then we could then look to ask Esri to also include that in their International Living Atlas of the World, so that would actually surface our collection to an international audience as well. So we have been doing some focus groups and workshops with Esri around this Work Package 7 to enhance our historical map collection. We're looking at how we can now extend the IIIF manifest for the collections that we have so that they can be brought into ArcGIS Online as well. So I guess in terms of timelines, we're at the point at the moment of really analysing all this really valuable feedback. We've been doing, like I said, one-to-one interviews, focus groups, usability assessment, and we plan to produce a requirements report in April so that we can then start planning through a strategic business case the next steps really, so phase 2 of implementation. So as you can see, this is very much being co-developed with very detailed consultation with our user community, and hence why shaping the future together.